Hello everybody and welcome to another Clear the Backlog podcast, this time for what is it now, June?
It is June the 1st.
It is June the 1st, blimey, that went quick. I am Joe, and this here is Dani.
Hello. I don't have as cool of a shirt on as Joe today.
Very few people.
Audio listeners,
very few people
he is
do.
in a bright pink shirt with rubber duckies on it, which is very good.
Yes.
But mine does have a little ditto on it, and it says, "What are you transforming into?" So.
All right. So what are you transforming into?
Nothing at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, this
I'm
is
just ditto at the moment.
just that makes sense. Okay, so this is the Clear the Backlog podcast, where every month we recap our past month's gaming, whether we have beaten any list games that we picked at the beginning of the month, and what we've been playing if we haven't. But before we get into that, any and all of that, Dani, how has May treated you? Have you been this past month?
Up and down. Life throws some shit at you, but it's also got some good shit in it. So I've got new guinea pigs. Is the main headline. So I mentioned on the first podcast episode, I think it was, that I've got 2 male guinea pigs who I was getting neutered, and they have recovered from surgery great. You had to wait 6 weeks-ish for them to get everything out of the system and make sure the surgery has worked. And then the idea was to find them new friends. So now that they're neutered, they can have girls, because we previously tried them with other boys, and they didn't get on with them. They just kept fighting.
Too much guinea pig testosterone flying around the pen there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. So we contacted a rescue, and they were like, would you be interested in 2 girls? Because we've got a pair that can't be split up. And I was like, yeah, I guess. Okay, sure. That's, more toenails to trim and more veggies to feed, but sure. I mean, let's go for it. So we ended up getting 2 new girls. They are very friendly girls, and they are with one of the males, Pud. So he's got himself 2 new girlfriends.
Nice.
And it's just quite stressful when you bond guinea pigs, because you have to keep an eye on them. There's a lot of violence initially a lot of the time. So for people who don't know, you basically have to put them in the same pen and hope they get along and figure it out. And a lot of the time they will do what's called rumbling at each other, which is where they wiggle their butt and then make a weird noise.
Yeah,
a low purring
it's
kind
like
of
a
noise.
kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then that's how they show that they're the big dog. But they will also fight each other, lunge at each other and kind of nip at each other and stuff, and chase each other around a lot and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's stressful when they're trying to figure it out, because they can be scratches and stuff. Ideally not too much, but they did have a few lunges at each other, which was oh god. But that was mainly in the first 24 hours, and then they calm down a bit. And they have naps and stuff as well in between. They have little truces. They have a bunch of interacting, and then they have a truce where they all go and nap in separate places in the room.
I just need 20 minutes by myself.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, just give me a moment. So there's a lot of that, but now they're pretty settled. So that trio is doing really well, which is great. So it's stressful, but now also it's really rewarding, because also they're very friendly and loud and happy. So it's good to see that. And then shortly after that, we also got the other boy, Tony, 1 female friend, because there was 1 solo girl who lost her cage mate from her family sometime and then needed rehoming, so we've got her now as well. But that was a bit of a different experience, because there wasn't a whole lot of violence, but there was also not a whole lot of interest between Tony didn't seem interested in her for a while.
Okay.
He didn't go over, he was just running away all the time. And we were just oh. And we think it's maybe because he was also nervous, because when you put them in a pen together, it's neutral space, so it's not their usual like cage, and we think because he's a nervous pig in general, we think he was just like very unfamiliar with the surroundings and didn't want to like do
Right.
anything.
Okay. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was just scared of everything. But when we put him back into his new cage, but like the same room as he used to be in with similar surroundings, he got a bit more confident, and then now he's like settled in better. So it seems to go pretty well again,
Nice.
but like less violent, and also because you kind of know a little bit more what to expect the second time round. It was less stressful then.
So
So
that
that's
brings the
good.
total guinea pig count up to 5 for you now. Then.
Yeah, we've and two of them are long haired, so we've also
Yeah,
got to
that's
like
a lot of
do a lot
work.
of hair trimming, and yeah, toenail trimming, and we also bought a new fridge because we were like, this fridge we've got is too small for all of the vegetables we now have because you have to have so many. They eat so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Man, guinea pigs. They're cute, but a lot of work.
yeah, they're more work than you'd think.
Yeah.
A lot of people get them as like kids' pets and don't
Mm.
realize how much work they are, and they can be, and they also can be really dramatic and have really good personalities though, so they're rewarding as well.
That's cool.
What about you? What's up with you?
Still unemployed. Still looking for work. It's officially British summer now, so I'm in shorts. I'm not going to be able to lift my leg up high enough to get it on camera, but trust me, I am wearing shorts. Um, but it's also British summer, so it's raining. Typically.
Yeah.
It's also been half term this week, so my wife and daughter have been around the house, which has meant that I haven't really had a lot of time for applying for jobs. Um, I've been actually working doing the garden, which is now in a place.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this on the last episode. It's been going on for a long time at this point, but
Since last year.
since we moved in, basically. Um, but it's all being cleared. We've got all the topsoil down. I've put the seed and the fertilizer in, now it's just waiting for grass to grow, which is like watching paint dry. But because they've put so much, something like 4 tons of topsoil down in the garden there, the cat has decided that is now just free reign to dig up just for fun. Or to go
Yeah.
to the toilet, whatever works for her. But I came out this morning, and she must have dug in about 10 different patches around the garden, and I'm like, this can't all be for wheeze. Like, you can't. There must be something wrong with you if
She's
you're going
just
to the
having
bathroom
fun
that
with
much.
it.
It's like this. She must just be doing it just to annoy me, I think.
Probably.
But that's more or less what's been going on with me. It's been a lot of lifting heavy
Work.
things and moving them, and
Yeah.
and now I'm really tired and I just want to go to sleep.
It'll be really good when it's done though.
It will be really good
Like
when
once
it's
it's
done.
grown.
Yeah, yeah. I just gotta remember that, when there's grass there, I can just go lie down on it and just be like, yeah, I did this.
Yeah,
This is
touch
fine.
grass.
Exactly. Go touch grass.
Touch grass and it'll be right there.
All right, so that is what we've done, but this is what we've played. So I think we're going to start this month with a little bit of a last month recap at the end of the last episode. I'd played a little bit of Mizzurna Falls. I think I'd technically finished it, but there was more I wanted to do. You'd played a little bit of Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree.
Yep.
So we are going to jump into those games. Be aware of spoilers for the end of those games. Obviously, we are going to go a little bit more into what we've played. But I will start with more thoughts on Mizzurna Falls. So like I said, I spoke about this at length in the last episode, so go check out that episode if you want to listen to my thoughts on the mechanics and the stuff like that, and about the game. But I have now actually finished the good ending run. which is the one thing I wanted to do after getting the bad ending the first time I played it. All of that is available on our YouTube channel. I think there's about 7 or 8 long streams of me playing through that good ending, or there is one very long 6-hour long
Oh my god.
edited supercut of those streams put together in one video. That is also available on the YouTube channel. So if you want to see that, there it is. If you've got a very quiet day at work, that'll get you through most of it. So I think I said in the last episode that I did enjoy the game, and I still do enjoy the game. I think it's a really interesting, like, piece of history, if nothing else. The stuff they managed to do on the PlayStation 1 at that time is kind of crazy. But you really do have to play through this game with a guide if you want to be able to get anything. It's basically not even just the good ending, but any ending other than the bad ending. Even to get one of the other bad endings, I don't know how you would get that ending without a guide. So 2 bad endings, 1 good ending, and if I don't know how you would get anything other than the bad ending without a guide. There are moments in the game where, say, you have to go speak to somebody at the church, and go talk to them, but there's nothing in the dialogue up to that point, at any point in the game, that kind of suggests that that's what you need to do. Nobody has been like, oh, maybe you should speak to this person, they're up at the church, or maybe, hey, have you checked out the church? You haven't been there in a while. Nothing points you at doing that. And then I'm reading through the guide as I'm playing the game, and I'm kind of like, why am I going here? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And it's all like little events. I say it's all little events. There are major story points in the game that happen, and there's nothing to point you there. And it's kind of like, I don't... How anybody would know to do that without following a guide, missing key events in the games. I don't know.
You just have to play it so many times to, like, just happen upon things.
I guess you would,
and
yeah.
then
You'd have
slowly,
to
like, piece it together or something by taking a lot of notes.
just write everything down and be like, at this time, this thing happens, and go here and yeah.
I mean, someone must have done it at some point, right? To make the guide.
I mean, yeah, sure. Someone a better gamer than I has obviously played this game, or something.
Someone with more time.
Maybe just someone with a lot more time. Yeah, has been through and done all this so that you don't have to. So if you do want to play this game, I will say play it with a guide. Don't do what I did and just go in and think, I'll just see how it goes, because there's like a 99.9% chance you're just going to get the bad ending and have to play through most of the game again anyway, which is what I did. I would love to see a remake of this game, or something like an update or a remaster or a re-release with a couple of little quality of life improvements, something like a notebook that actually tracks who, like, dialogue that you've been through previously, who you need to speak to, who you have spoken to, what you found out about them. It has some of that, but it's not really useful. Maybe like
investigation board.
Not even like a quest log or something that's kind of like, okay, this is like, because there are little mysteries that all tie into the major story points. So you kind of either need to write something down or have the game say, hey, look, you were doing this thing, you only got so far, maybe here's a little hint about what you need to do next to be able to do that. Because I do really like this game, and I think if it had just a couple of little modern day quality of life improvements, I think it would be a fantastic game, and people would be lauding it as one of the all time greats. But I think it does just sort of fall short in just a couple of little, coming at it, nearly 30 years later. it does kind of fall short in a way that maybe was acceptable back in the time, and now is things change. But that's about all I have to say on Mizzurna Falls. I have played another game off my list, but before then, why don't we go to you? And you can talk
mine kind of follows
about
on from last month.
talk about what you've done.
Yeah, so last month I talked about how far I had got in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. And now I can say that I've finished it finally.
Hooray!
So I think I'm on 4 games out of 12 now, so I'm a little bit behind, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I finished it, but last time when we spoke, I had kind of got to the point where I'd met the final boss, like I knew where they were, but I'd been told / knew that there was more to see because of the different areas that I hadn't been to yet. Clearly, like I was like, there's a whole map fragment I haven't got, like there's all these areas where I know that I haven't been in this part of the map. So I went and started trying to do the optional stuff because I wanted to save the final boss for the end. So I went around some other places, found loads of other bosses. There's still quite loads of minor bosses, obviously world bosses. They're
just everywhere in the everywhere. At least in the base game. They're just everywhere.
They're everywhere here too.
Yeah.
And then also quite a few major bosses too. So one of them was really cool setting. I think in a lot of ways I did these maybe a bit too late, some of them, because some of them felt a bit too easy because I was already at the end of the main kind of part of the game. I was at the end of that, so some of these felt a bit easy based on where I found them, and I would maybe say if you wanted to do all of these, maybe try and find them a little bit earlier. But I found a skeleton riding a horse, which is alright in a big arena. Arena was pretty plain, but the fight itself was pretty decent. It was one of those, like, you kind of learn it over a couple of attempts and you get better at it, and then it's fine. All the attacks are fairly slow. There was another one.
Is the skeleton on a skeleton horse, or is it a flesh horse?
The skeleton. So the horse is like a flesh horse, but it's also a goopy horse.
Ew.
So it's the arena is like a goopy area, like a black goopy puddly mess,
right?
Of water and stuff, and it's as if the bottom half of the horse merges into the puddles.
Oh, okay.
So it's like kind of this goopy thing, and then like one of the attacks, he kind of like raises up, and the horse like gets like a mound of goop, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and yeah, it's like that. So yeah, the horse is not a skeleton. The horse is goopy.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Important distinction, yeah. Yeah, there was another. So some of these areas, I was struggling to find how to get to them. So you could see them on the map, and you weren't really sure how to get to them. And I had one of my friends who's played the DLC just screenshot the map and go, try going roughly this way, and drew some like arrows on it for me. And I was like, okay. And he drew it like in the main castle where I'd been, and then like a little loop around that, and like going back down and out to the right. I was like, okay, I didn't find a thing there, so I was like, okay, I know there's a route that way. Turns out, like, you had to carefully like drop down off the side of something onto like a ledge, and then you get to another little underground bit, and then there's a secret wall. Yeah. And then you get in a coffin, and you go down a waterfall type thing.
This all sounds like, okay, very Dark like, Souls.
Yeah. I mean, I found it without, like, a guide.
Yeah.
But I only found it with, like, arrows being like, roughly here. Yeah. Look around here. So I was like, I'm glad that I had at least a little bit of direction for that. And that led me to a new area, like a whole new area, which is, like, half of the map of stuff, which is most of where the optional stuff I'd missed was. And unlocked so much from there, including one place where you get to this point and it kicks you off your horse, and I was like, huh? And I tried to get back on my horse and it was like, your horse is too scared, it won't come out.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. Because it was like a creepy, like, woods infected with madness. Like all the people with the yellow eyes.
The yellow, yeah.
Yeah, and they give you all this madness build-up. It's like, oh, that's... And at first I was like, oh, that's really annoying. Like, why... That's just, like, it just makes everything slower. And it's just like, oh, what's the point in this? As I was just, like, running around. And then I realised they were doing a thing, which was actually really cool. So they force you off your horse, and then they introduce these enemies that you have to sneak past, because you can't kill them. So... they're enemies that will, like, if they see you, will build up madness on you and attack you and, like, grapple you and kill you. So you could just try to run past them and run really quickly, but you're probably going to get madness and then you go, and you get stuck and then they grab you and then they kill you. But there's also, like, large areas of long grass that you can sneak in.
Okay.
So the idea is you sneak through the grass past various versions of these guys and, like, get past through the forest and to the other side where you've got Grace. And then there's a big mansion that you go in, which is a little dungeon, at the end of which you have another remembrance boss. So it's like, oh, at first I was really annoyed, and then I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing this for. Now it makes sense. If they were just doing that to be annoying, I would hate it.
Yeah, for sure.
But at least it has a little purpose, and it doesn't overstay its welcome too much. Like, it doesn't last for too long that you're really annoyed by it, and it's like, oh, another section. There's like 2 sections, so it doesn't take very long. Because it's not that hard as well. So
right,
there's not loads of them.
Yeah, that seems it seems like a weird inclusion.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
But yeah, why not? Sure.
But I was like, okay, yeah, I can appreciate them doing something a little different. It's like not overused, yeah, all that kind of thing. So that was interesting. And then it rewards you with a mention and a big boss. So that boss was like obviously a madness boss, inflicts madness.
Of course.
From the original game, he's basically a dude, but his head is on fire. Like the frenzied flame stuff from the original one. So it's like that kind of lore. So it's pretty cool. Some cool attacks. Not too hard, I didn't find. But just like good enough. Like just plod through and learn the attacks, that kind of thing again. So yeah, it was good. Then there was one to mention, which was a big sunflower that I met.
Lovely.
Just a sunflower.
But
it was weird because I did so much damage to it. You do loads of damage if you hit its head, and I did so much damage with one hit, and I was like, oh god, I'm here too early. I'm really early. Like, I'm here too late even, sorry.
Oh, right, yeah. Like, so, like, you're overpowered.
I'm doing too much, I'm too overpowered. And then I killed the health bar to 0, and you do, like, a critical hit to finish him off.
Like a final blow type thing, yeah.
Yeah. And then, which I nearly missed, because I didn't realise for a bit, but I got it. And then there's a second phase. So his health bar's back to, like, 80%, because the critical hit damage, like, carries over to the next phase, essentially.
I see, right, okay.
So I killed him on that one. And I was like, phase 3? There was a phase 3.
Oh, no.
And phase 3 gets some, like, wild shit that is very hard to dodge, and I just kind of tanked it and drinked my pots. And
it's a valid way of playing those games. Just heal through it.
But I did kill it the third phase, and I was like, please let that be it. Like, I was starting to think that there was some kind of thing you needed to do before it would, like, permanently die. Yeah. But no, it was just 3 phases. So
okay.
That was it. But yeah, I was just like, okay, god damn it. I was joking about the third phase. Why are you doing this? Yeah, so there's some stuff going on. You know those finger monsters?
I do. I'm very well aware.
The gross, horrible ones.
Yeah.
I found out where they come from.
Oh.
I fought Mother of Fingers.
Oh.
Big finger monster. you'll see that in one of the videos I'm going to be uploading soon.
Excellent.
Big figure monster, gross. And then there was finally a decent dragon boss as well.
Okay.
Like, penultimate big boss that I fought was called Bale, big dragon. One of his legs has been chopped off, and you actually get to target his head, and his head is actually like attackable easily because it's like right low down.
Right. Okay.
So you're not actually going underneath and hitting legs like you usually are for dragons.
Just chipping away from the back.
Moves are very different to like all the regular world boss dragons, which is good. So you actually have to learn the attacks and stuff, which because it would be a bit rubbish if you were just like, oh yeah, just another dragon, and the moves are all the same. So yeah, he's got a lot of different attacks, and in the second phase, his whole shit goes wild, and there's so many visual aspects to it, and it just looks really quite fucking cool. I gotta say.
Yeah.
So it was quite enjoyable to watch as I was dying. But yeah, so those are all the main kind of like optional ones. I'll talk about the final boss because I know a lot of people had issues with it when it came out.
Yeah, I believe it got nerfed after release because people were complaining so much.
Yeah, so I was playing the nerf version and I had a little look, and it was mainly some changes to the size of AoEs.
Right, okay.
So reducing those somewhat. I think there was a bit of damage number changing as well, like how much damage he does. At this point I had all of like the upgrades you could get, so I was like, that's not an excuse, but it's just get good at this point.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he only has 2 phases. By the end of it, I had first phase easy peasy, like down,
just got
dodging everything.
No problem. Yeah.
Just got it. What makes the second phase so hard is that all of the normal attacks are very similar to his first phase. So you'd think, oh, timings are very similar. They are. But there's also like loads of visual shit popping off that like obscures your view, and I think that's another thing that got nerfed slightly, or they changed the graphics slightly so that the visual effects were made it like easier to see what was going on.
Yeah, right.
It was still an issue. Like, well, at the start it was still an issue because you're just like, oh my god, there's so much on the screen. But it's like this in a similar way to how Cuphead, there's loads of stuff on the screen at some points, and you get
becomes like a bullet hell type thing at a certain point.
Yeah. So like all of his like combos also came with sparks of like holy like coming down from the sky, like little what are they called, like rays of light essentially coming down to try and attack you. And they were also slightly delayed. He also has a grab attack that the first time you get grabbed it does nothing to you. Second time, instant death.
Oh, okay, cool.
So don't get grabbed.
Don't get grabbed.
Yeah, but it's meant to be hard. He's a god, essentially. So he's meant to be difficult.
It's the last fight in a DLC for a game that you've presumably already beaten, so there has to be sort of like some sort of escalation there, I suppose. Yeah. Although
I don't think it was as hard as Millennia.
Okay.
So, I spent about 4 hours on Radahn, the final boss of this one.
That sounds like a lot.
It was quite a lot. I think I spent more on Millennia, because a lot of Radahn's moves are fairly telegraphed.
Yeah.
A bit slow. Whereas I feel like Millennia had some speedy stuff.
She is definitely, depending on what build you've got, she is definitely speedy. Like, she can outspeed you quite easily, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was using a greatsword for this.
Yeah, probably not
very
the best
slow,
choice.
But also he was slow.
Sure.
So, the only one thing, I think the main hard part about it was, and the thing I kept dying to every time, was this one combo he has, which uses gravity magic, and he flings meteors at you, follows it up with like a bunch of slashes, and then like pummels down with you with a bigger slash, and then loads of light just surrounds him and goes and explodes. Like, and it's a very long combo, and I have found that if I didn't do everything exactly correctly and very specifically, I would die. So if you don't dodge the first part of when he starts that combo, then you lose so much time where you're not able to run away because you have to get so much distance away from him. So you're slowed down by the fact that you got hit by the first thing, can't get far enough away, and then you have to like run backwards away from him, turn to the one side so that you can miss the meteors that he's throwing at you, and also jump to get a bit of extra distance. It's the only way I found out to dodge them. Then you have to run like backwards again, slightly to the side to dodge his slashes. But for the last fifth slash, you have to then roll towards him because he does it further.
I see, yeah.
Into it, so you have to roll into him, and then you have to roll again and again for the last two like bits of his combo. And they all do loads of damage.
All right, yeah.
And if you get hit by one of them, it fucks up your timing and everything else on the rest.
Yeah.
So that was the one I was like, I'm dying to this all the time. And then once I figured out how to dodge it, I was like, okay, now I have a chance. But it was a lot of trial and error on how to dodge it because he does a similar attack in the first phase, but it's way simpler.
Yeah.
It only has the meteors. So I figured out how to dodge the meteors, but the rest was new. So
I feel like there are a couple of bosses. None are really coming to mind, but I remember. I mean, Dark Souls, Elden Ring. It's a game of pattern recognition. It's recognizing what's happening and what moves you need to do to be able to do that. That's kind of the whole game. And there are just like some bosses that just do take it to an extreme, and it sounds like this is very much that.
Yeah, and then it's just also a lot of overwhelming stuff going on when you're trying to learn it as well. But it was okay once I got that. I think it could have been harder. I would have been able to do it. I think I could have done it pre-nerf, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, surely there's a way to downpatch the game so that you can go back and play it pre-nerf if you really want to.
I'm not going to bother, but I think I could have.
Okay.
But I also see why it would have gone nerfed because of like particularly like the visuals were quite a lot. So yeah, but I enjoyed it. I think it depends what you're looking for in terms of a DLC. A lot of the world bosses were samey from the original game. There's a lot of repeats.
Yeah.
I mean, there was in the original game.
There was, yeah. I mean, it kind of like it's kind of been a problem with. I'd say it's a problem. It's not really a problem, but it's one thing that kind of annoys me in all of the Dark Souls games is by the time you get to the end of the game, normal enemies are bosses that you fought at the beginning of the game, and and that can be a little annoying. Well. Yeah.
The Golden Hippo is a boss. He's obviously in Night Rain as well, but he becomes just a field enemy that you can kill for fragments.
Right.
Which are your upgrade materials. Similar to, I think, the big wormy looking things. I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, I don't know. But them ones, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the big wormy ones.
We'll put a picture of them in here.
Yeah.
And then you can see what I mean, but I can't remember the name of them. But so yeah, there's a lot of samey stuff. Some of them I'd already seen as well because I'd played Night Rain. So
yeah,
that was a bit like, oh yeah, it's these guys. But if I hadn't played Night Rain, then they would be new.
Oh, if you'd actually played the DLC when it came out before Night Rain came out.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say the Remembrance bosses are pretty good. Some of them are really good. I really liked Rilana, double sword wielding lady. She's very quick She took me a while. Mesmer, which is like the guy on the cover, he was very cool. Took me ages. And then like the Frenzied Flame guy was cool. The Mother of Fingers was annoying, but it was kind of cool lore-wise, I guess. To find out
There's always a boss that you kind of like. Okay, that one wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some of those. There's a guy riding a pig. It's just very basic. Like, it wasn't hard. It wasn't anything particularly special. But there are some really good ones in there. I would say, though, if you're not bothered about doing the repeats, maybe just, like, I had a look and there are some pictures where you can see rough progressions in a good order for you to follow roughly. It doesn't spoil anything. It just has some arrows, like, start here, go roughly this way. There's a boss here. Roughly this way, boss there. Like, and then you can kind of do them in more of an intended order.
Sure.
And it gives you a rough idea of where you should be trying to head, at least, but without saying exactly, like, how to get there. So I wouldn't blame people if they wanted to just kind of do that, because the Remembrance bosses are the best part of it. The world bosses and the dungeon bosses are okay, but nothing particularly special. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And obviously I've been watching a couple of your boss videos that you've been putting up on YouTube. Most of them are up now. Yeah. Some are coming out in the next couple of days. Depending on when you listen to this, if you listen to this when this goes live, there's more to come. If you listen to it after the fact, they're probably all up by now. Sure, go watch them. But watching those the other day I was kind of caught myself thinking, I want to play all the Dark Souls games again. Those are some really good games. I was like, no, I've got enough games to play. I've played Dark Souls so many times. I don't need to play them all again.
You could play this DLC.
I could play this DLC. But I do worry that that's going to make me want to go back and play. Well, I'd have to play more Elden Ring anyway to get DLC ready. So.
Oh yeah, of course you'd have to do the homework. Like
yeah. I think to be honest, I think that's the reason that I haven't picked up the DLC is because I put something like 140 hours into Elden Ring when it came out. Within like the first month or two of it coming out, I did everything in that game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I kind of want to do that again. I know it's not going to be like that whole thing, and there's going to be ways to sort of go around it, but yeah, I don't know.
It took me about 25 hours to do that initial bit to get to the DLC. Given the first 10 or so, I was actually playing casually. And figuring out a magic build, and then I respect because I couldn't do it. But it was a solid amount of time really to get back to that DLC. Even though I did like Google, how am I getting all my weapon upgrades? Like where can I get this? Where can I get that? I knew what weapon I wanted to use, so I went and got that, and then upgraded it with some of the smithing stones or whatever. And there are a lot of things that you can skip because you don't need to do them. You have to fight certain bosses, obviously, but you only need to fight, like, Radahn and Mog to get into the DLC. You can skip everything else, but there is a caveat because the DLC is hard, and you probably want all your upgrades and all your flasks. So you gotta go around collecting all that shit, and some of those upgrades are in later areas. So I ended up, like, killing the fire giant to get like a ancient somber smithing stone for the +10 to your special weapons. Yeah. From an area that is past that. Like I think it was Farum Azula that it was in. So.
Yeah, I mean I'm feeling the Souls itch, and I don't have a Switch 2, and I'm not going to buy a Switch 2, especially not just to play the Duskbloods. So I don't see that getting.
No. That's a bit of a different game anyway.
Sorted anything. Yeah, I'm massively curious about what that game actually is. They've shown so little. It's you know what? It's Summer Games Fest this week, so maybe we'll see more Duskbloods at Summer Game Fest. Who knows?
From what I know, it's PvPvE.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. It's like an
That's all I know.
8-player thing.
Yeah.
Like that trailer looked really cool, and then it was announced for Switch 2, and it was like, great, I'm never going to play this.
No. Yeah.
It was like, oh well, never mind.
Probably not.
But yeah, I really do want to play this DLC, and I will one of these days. I will
At some point. Yeah.
But one game that I have played, a brand new list game. None of this rehash nonsense that we've been talking about up to this point. This is a brand new game purely for this month. I am referring to Tenchu Stealth Assassins. This is, by the title, you may be able to assume this is a stealth action game for the PlayStation 1. The game itself is broken up into 10 individual sort of levels. And there's a tutorial level as well. But each of the levels takes place on its own little contained map. And you get a map of the area, and it shows you where you are on the map. And that's it. Like, it'll show you where buildings are, but it won't tell you what your objective is, where you need to go to get that, what the best way of doing that is, whether there's even a way of... It's very sort of free form, and you can go about doing it however you want to do in a very sort of early sim kind of way. But in this game you've got a choice of 2 playable characters. You've got Rikimaru, who is your sort of male ninja. He has more health, but he moves a bit slower, and he's just got the one sword. Or your other playable character is Ayame. She's a female kunoichi. She's got less health but moves faster, and she has 2 shorter swords. So you've got a choice of games there, and each character, both Rikimaru and Ayame, have their own progression through the game. So I actually did this. Say you beat the first 2 levels as Rikimaru, and you're like, okay, I wanna try see what Ayame is like. You can't then go on and play level 3 with Ayame without having also taken her through level 1 and level 2. Which is really weird, because despite the 2 characters not having essentially cross progression between them, their stories are exactly the same throughout the game. They go through the same levels, they hit the same story beats.
Yeah.
The only exception is in chapter 3 or level 3. The non-playable character, the one that you haven't chosen for that particular level, gets captured by one of the bad guys. That's literally the only difference throughout the entire game. So it did seem weird to me that I couldn't just then pick up Ayame and continue where I left off. So didn't end up playing as her? I did not end up playing as her at all. I just went through the whole game as Rikimaru, which he's fine. No shade to Rikimaru, but
wow,
yeah,
sounds a bit.
No, he's good. He's my boy Rikimaru. So just to go through a little bit of the story of the game is set in the Sengoku period of Japan, which is around the 15th, 16th century. I ended up looking this up. There's like disagreement about when the Sengoku period starts. It's either like sometime between 1450 or 1490, depending on which war you want to decide was the beginning of the Sengoku period. But this is set, I'm assuming it's sometime in the 1500s. Your character, both characters, Rikimaru and Ayame, work for the Azuma Ninja clan at the behest of Lord Goda. The story in this game is... But because it's broken up into 10 distinct levels, the story doesn't quite flow. It's very much like short little vignettes of... here's a little point in time, and this is the story that's happening at this little point in time. They do kind of follow one from each other, but they don't give a lot of time to go into backstory about, like, who Lord Goda is, who the Azuma Ninja Clan are, why the Azuma Ninja Clan are working for Lord Goda. It's just like, these are the facts. This is what we're doing. This is so you kind of
The time skips between them.
a little bit, yeah. So the game starts out fairly simple. I think the first mission is you, the player character, going out and killing a wealthy merchant who has been getting up to no good, and because he's wealthy, he's sort of buying his own freedom from whatever court system there is in feudal Japan. And then there's another mission where you have to kill one of Lord Goda's corrupt minister. Like, he's working with a different clan, trying to take them down. You kind of have to fill in the blanks a little bit with the story.
Right.
But that's kind of how the game starts, and then sort of around level 3, level 4, the game introduces one of the antagonists, a mysterious ninja called Onikage, who has his sights set on Lord Goda and the Azuma clan for reasons. And he kind of just appears and disappears in a very supernatural kind of way. And as the story goes on, with the game being mission based and all that, you start to pick up more little pockets of the story. And by the end of the game, you've kind of discovered that Onikage, this mysterious ninja, is working for the Demon King and Lord of the Underworld, Lord Mayo.
Lord Mayo.
Mayo, yes.
Like mayonnaise.
It's MEI-OH, so no. But also, they do just say Lord Mayo. And in my head, I'm just like, yeah, Lord Mayonnaise the whole time. So the final mission of the game is you are tasked with saving the princess, who is Lord Goda's daughter, from Lord Mayo, who presumably kidnapped her at some point. It never actually shows that. And that all culminates with you fighting Lord Mayo in what might actually be hell. You kind of you go into this castle and you fight Onikage and he dies, and you progress on and you jump down a hole, and then you're under the castle, and the under the castle is all like cave system, and it's filled with lava and fire. And then you keep going and you get through that, and then you jump down even further, and then there's this pit, and Lord Mayo's just in there, and you fight him in this pit.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean it's a really cool game, and I like the mission based structure, the ability to kind of wander around and get lost and not really know where you're going, getting into fights and taking people out stealthily, which is sort of like the purpose of the game. This game is incredibly difficult. I say incredibly difficult, but not in like a Dark Souls way, although it does kind of feel a bit Soulsy at times. Like, fighting is very deliberate because you kind of you're not meant to get into fights. You're not supposed to be just running up on fools and drawing your sword and fighting people, because it's a stealth game. And stealth and takedowns are the preferred method of playing the game. But if you combine that with the game's tank controls, and this isn't going to be as big a problem for some people as it is for me, an inverted camera when you go into first-person perspective. You have like a grappling hook on a rope that you can use to go from place to place. You throw shurikens in first person's perspective, and if you're trying to do that and you're not used to inverted look controls, you're going to end up throwing things in the wrong direction, which happened to me several times.
I hate inverted controls.
Me too. But combining all of that together, along with like some really clunky, the game's nearly 30 years old. Come on, it's going to be a bit clunky. It's not the smoothest thing in the world. But when you combine all that together, it kind of does make playing the game stealthily really quite difficult. there were multiple times when I was playing the game that you have like a little meter in the bottom right corner of the screen that gives you a percentage of how aware the enemies are of you at any certain time, and that goes from 0 up to 100 when you've been spotted. And I'd be running through areas, and you can go into like first person perspective and have a look around. And because it's a PlayStation 1 game, the draw distance is incredibly small. And enemies will spot you from outside of the draw distance. So you'll be running around and be like, yep, no, look, looks all clear. And you'll move forward, and the enemy will be like, there he is! And you're like, oh, right, okay, great. And then you have to kind of... I couldn't see you. There was you were right in front of me, and I couldn't see you. And then there's also points where even if you can see an enemy who's like quite far away, you're trying to stay out of their line of sight, their viewpoint. And again, it's a PlayStation 1 game. And these models are so pixelated. You're like really struggling and squinting at the screen, being like, is he looking at me or is he looking the other way? I don't know. There's about 3 pixels
is that
here.
the back of his head, or
have they drawn face or hair? I don't know. But yeah. It's not the end of the world if you get into a fight with someone. The controls are clunky. Holding down on the D-pad, like holding back, that's your block. And then combining like different directions on the D-pad with the attack button will do different attacks. So you can do like a forward thrust or a slice to either side. And I'd say that probably has about a 30% chance of working every time I do it. And sometimes it happens every time when I don't want it to do it. It's like I say, it's an old game. You kind of have to take these things with a grain of salt. I still did really like this game. It's a lot of fun. It is very short. I think I beat this in like 3.5, 4 hours to get through all 10 missions and the tutorial mission. So yeah, I mean, if it sounds fun to you, go and check it out. There's something like 9, I think, games in the series over the years. Unfortunately, they haven't made a Tenchu game since like 2008. So I'd really like them to see them try something new with Tenchu. That'd be really cool. And one thing I found out was I think I kind of knew this, but I read an article and it seemed to be confirmed that Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, the FromSoft game, did actually start out development as a Tenchu sequel, which is part of the reason why it has Activision as the publisher. It's a whole thing. But as the game grew bigger and bigger in size and scope, it kind of grew away from it being a Tenchu game and kind of became its own thing. And that's really cool, because I love Sekiro, and I think Sekiro is a great game, and I think we should have more...
Sekiro is a great game.
We should have more games like Sekiro. We should have Sekiro 2. We should have Tenchu 8 or 9 or whatever they got up to. Like, there should just be more of these games. I really enjoy them, and clearly they work. So, come on, people! Make more video games! More games that appeal to me specifically. But that was my time with Tenchu Stealth Assassins. I think not quite all the videos are up yet, but they'll be up soon.
Coming very soon.
Coming very soon. And I think that's all the list games for this month. I think that brings me to a total of 6, and you said 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got plenty of time to catch up. It's a halfway through the not even halfway through the year. You've got like 7 months still to go. You got plenty of time.
Yep, you've seen my list.
I have. I mean, hopefully everybody's seen your list. If you haven't seen Danny's list, go back and watch episode 1 and
then cry for me,
and then laugh at the ridiculous amount of 100-hour JRPGs she decided to I'm thinking that maybe
I'm
we're
a
gonna
smart
have
lady.
some late game substitutions on the list here at some point.
Maybe we'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see. All right.
Try not to give up.
We'll move swiftly on to non-list games that we've played this month. I'll start with one that I don't have a huge amount to talk about. It's a game called Kaze no Notam, or Notam of Air, or Notam of Wind in English. This is a very strange game. This is for anybody who popped when I said Kaze no Notam. You're gonna know immediately. This is a hot air balloon flying simulator.
Oh.
This is a very bizarre game that came out for the PlayStation 1 in Japan, and only in Japan. And in it, you kind of fly a hot air balloon around, and that's kind of the whole game. You just fly the hot air balloon. There are different modes to do, there are different things to do while you're flying the hot air balloon around. So, different modes such as you can fly a hot air balloon around the map area, and you can shoot out markers from the hot air balloon, and you need to make a triangle that's of certain size covering the entire map, or as much of the map as you can. There are things where you have to try and land the hot air balloon as close as possible to the target, or shoot a marker as close as possible to the target. There's like a hide and seek almost mode in one of them, where there's like 10 hot air balloons on the map, and you've got like a limited time to fly around and find the specific hot air balloon that it's asking you to find. It's a really nice, chill game, but it's also really stressful. So the mechanics of the game are, there are basically 5 different heights that you can be at as you're flying the balloon. And if you've ever seen a hot air balloon, you know it has no propulsion system. It just kind of flies where the wind goes. The only thing that you've got is you can kind of raise and lower where it is by adding or cooling air in the actual balloon. And as you rise up through these 5 levels, the direction of the wind current will change. So say you want to go north, there's on the 4th highest thing, there's an arrow pointing north. You've put hot air in until you get up to that level, and then you start going north. And that's great. Except that the directions of the air currents seemingly are random and just change with zero notice and just kind of happen. So you can be okay. I want to go southeast. I need to go southeast to put the last marker down, but all of the air currents on all the 5 levels are pointing north. There's just nothing you can do about that. You just have to go north.
That's just the way it goes.
And wait for the air currents to change, and hopefully one of them changes so that you can go southeast, and hope that it doesn't drift you off in too far a direction. It's a really neat idea for the game, and it's a really weird game. The soundtrack in it is so relaxing. It's like the perfect chill music for flying around in a hot air balloon. And yeah, I think if you haven't tried Kaze no Notam, just give it a go. I've only put about an hour and a half into it, and I've nearly finished it, so it's not a huge.
How did you play this? You said it was PS1.
It's PS1, so I'm just emulating it. Yeah, I think there is a translated version out there. I'm just playing it in Japanese. The Japanese is fairly simple. Okay. There's a couple of things that I've needed to get Google Translate out to read. But this is this game is a game made by Erdtree, who have made other games on the PlayStation 1 that have eventually, quite recently, just come to Steam under the Erdtree game log. Games like Tale of the Sun and Aquanaut's Holiday are now available on Steam through the Erdtree game log. They're not available in English. They are only available in Japanese, but it's really cool that these games are available at all. So yeah, go check them out. Go check out Kaze no Notam, and have a look at some of the other games that Art Dink were making back in the day, because they were making some weird stuff, some really weird stuff, and you got to commend them for it. But that's one of the games I've been playing last month. Dani, how about you? What have you been spending your time on?
Yeah, Elden Ring took longer than I expected, honestly. And also I had, weirdly, a lot more time off than usual because of taking time off for the pigs.
Right.
And getting the new pigs. However, that was pig time.
Big time.
I couldn't really play games. So I actually didn't play too much else with all my Elden Ring time because I really needed to get that finished. I in fact only finished that on Monday. It's Saturday now, so I've spent all time since then like editing.
Yeah.
But so that's why I haven't started my next list game. But I did in between play a little bit more Slay the Spire, the original.
Great game.
Still gotta try and beat the Act 4, like the final act proper boss.
Yeah.
Because I beat the original with the three main characters, but I am yet to defeat the actual end boss, the beating heart one. It's really hard, turns out.
It is, yeah. I think I told you that I've only beaten that final boss once, and as soon as I did, I uninstalled the game and was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm happy. Thank you.
I'm occasionally still doing that. I've got a few more times where I've got to that boss. But I seem to like decks that play a lot of cards, and then that boss punishes you for it. So
Got to keep a lean deck. That's the
yeah. So it is what it is. I'm still having fun with it every now and then, but just in between, like on Steam Deck, when I've got a little bit of time, I don't want to get stuck in. I didn't want to get like stuck into an Elden Ring session or whatever. I'd play a little bit of that. I also did play a little bit of Phasmophobia. For those not aware, Phasmophobia is an ongoing. Again, has ongoing development, so they're still like investing in it. It's a game where you hunt ghosts. You basically go into a house, you collect evidence about a ghost that inhabits that house, and you try and figure out what type of ghost it is from the evidence. You can have varying difficulties and that kind of thing. But they recently did a event with Alan Wake.
Yeah, I saw this, and I was kind of curious how this would work. And hopefully you're here to tell me, because
so the main reason I'd played it, well, Alan Wake is cool. I wanted to see it, but also you get cosmetics. They introduced a new like customer character customization within the game as well recently, just before this event, where you can customize your character into different outfits and stuff like that. So during the event, you can get cosmetics from Alan Wake, so you can get Alan's like jacket and shirt and trousers, and you can get Saga's like jumper, the red like Nordic jumper, and her like FBI jacket and stuff like that.
Cool.
So that's why I wanted to do it. But basically there's like 4 maps that have been transformed into overlap areas from Alan Wake, and one of them is like Coffee World. One of them is the diner that's normally a diner map is the Oh Dear Diner now.
That's cool.
Well, I say now, event's over now, but yeah. And then there's like Cauldron Lake and Coffee World and whatever, I don't know. There's a few at different places. And yeah, you go into the map, you walk around with a UV flashlight, and you try and find words of power.
Okay.
So that's one part. You try and find the words of power, you have to shine them with your light, and then it like goes shh, like it does in Alan Wake, and you collect it. So there's like a bunch of those on the different maps. You try and get them all. Once you get them all, you unlock Alan's outfit. The other part of it is walking around and finding dolls on tables and things like that. So the little dolls that are part of the puzzles within Alan Wake 2. You find all those.
Like the little riddle puzzles.
Yeah,
okay.
Once you've got all of them in the main lobby of Phasmophobia, they're all there, and then you get like 3 or 4 different riddles. So you got to put them on the pictures based on the text. So it's got Alan reading them to you. And you got to try and put them on. And once you've done all that, that's when you get Saga's outfits. There's also like they've changed the maps, so they look more like the things they're trying to be. In one of them, you turn on a light, and like the Cult of the Deer people, like it changes to the Cult of the Deer as if you were changing the scene when in Alan's sections. So it looks like a certain way in the diner. You turn a light on, and then there's like all the words on the walls, scrolled on the walls, all the like sticks and stuff that are hanging down in triangles like everywhere. So it's like changes the scene when you turn the light on, which I thought was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
And then the only other, and there's this like Taken just standing around the map, like black shadows, and you can take in a clicker and like hold it up to them and go shh and like get rid of the Taken around the map. So that you can hear better as well, because they make fucking noises. Like, when you try to listen out for ghost noise, like actual ghost noises.
So there's still ghosts in those levels. It's just everything.
Yeah, there's still the main ghost. The
right.
game is the same.
Yeah,
but it's also got all this stuff.
But it's just got the Alan Wake trappings around it.
Yeah, you've got all these events. You can do it on a custom mode where you're never gonna get hunted by the actual ghost if you want to. But you can also do it on any hardness difficulty as well, which makes obviously looking for words of power a lot harder when you're getting chased by a ghost.
Sure.
It's trying to kill you. But yeah, the Taken are also there, and they're really creepy and making noises in your ears, and it's like, ugh. Makes you feel more spooky again. Because you kind of get used to the spooks in Phasmophobia generally after a while. And then the last thing is like you can find little charms around the map. So it's like an oh dear diner thermos, like sitting on a table in the oh dear diner, and if you like click it and pick it up, it gives you a charm to put on your outfit of the oh dear thermos.
Cool.
So there's a few bits like that as well, one in each map. So it's just like some little cosmetics, some fun little map changes, and a little event to do. So I also did that because I really wanted the little outfits. But it didn't take me long. It was like just a couple hours in the evening to get it all done. So
nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've still never played Phasmophobia. Maybe I will one of these days. I don't know.
It's better with friends.
Yeah, I don't have any.
I don't really like playing it too much on my own. But I do have some friends who I play it with sometimes, and that makes it a lot more fun.
It seems like that would be the case. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can troll your friends in it as well by using cursed items, which basically summon the ghost a lot of the time. There's one which is a music box which you open and it plays music, and the ghost walks towards it when it's playing the music.
All right.
And you can open it and just throw it at your friends. And the ghost goes towards them, just like dropping a bomb on them.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this brings us on to the last game on our list here, and the last game that I kind of played. I haven't really put a lot of time into this, and I am going to go back and play more of this. But this is Lunar Abyss. This is very much we have Saros and PC at home kind of thing, which may or may not be a little bit unfair to Lunar Abyss. Like I said, I've not finished the game. I've not played a huge amount of it. But this is a first-person shooter, and the best way to describe it, and I've heard many sort of journalists over the years kind of saying A game plus B game equals C game is a bad way of describing a game, but I have no other. I'm not a games journalist. I don't really care. But I have no other way of describing this other than it is Returnal / Saros's bullet hell kind of gameplay from a first-person perspective, but it's got Metroid Prime's combat. So you can kind of lock on to enemies and shoot your gun while trying to avoid the bullet hell that's kind of coming at you. And it's a really cool game, and I'm enjoying it so far. I think I'm about 2.5 hours in. My biggest issue, or one of my biggest issues with the game so far, is that there's not a huge amount of movement options. When you think about playing Returnal, I've not played Saros, but I assume it kind of works the same way. Is you've got great mobility in that game to move around the sort of the areas, the levels that you're in. Luna Abyss doesn't have that. Like, you can run and you can jump, and that's about it. Like I say, I've played for about 2.5 hours, and I did just find a double jump. So there's an item in the game that gives you a double jump. So I'm hoping that it's gonna keep meting out these movement upgrades as the game goes on. And if it does, that'd be great. I would like that. Another one of my issues with the games is that there's a big focus on story over actual gameplay. In the 2.5 hours that I've played, I don't know how much of this is actually just set up for, okay, now go and run and kill things. But it kind of feels like they really want you to be invested in this story. And the story is mysterious, and I don't really fully understand what's going on yet. It seems like all of a sudden one day this big red moon appeared above Earth, and then it cuts to 200 years later, and this big red moon has been turned, or is just a penal colony. And you play as the main character, Forks, who has been arrested and sent to the penal colony on the moon, or a moon. And there you take control of, like, this shell, like this robot thing that's a human, and you can do that with your mind, I think. And you use that to run around and explore the lunar abyss, like the cave system under the moon or in the moon. And by doing certain tasks that you are told to do by the All-Father, which is seemingly some sort of godlike creature who rules the moon, maybe you get days taken off your prison sentence for doing these certain things. Like I say, I don't really understand what's going on in the story. I haven't played enough to really dig down into it. I do want to play more. I am enjoying it. But they really do seem to want to throw a lot of story at you early on. And the combat is fun. The combat, what little of it I have actually been through is good. You get like a couple of little combat rooms, and then there's a lot of platforming and running around and moving on in story and talking to characters. Then you get into another little combat room and you have a fun little fight for a bit, and then you platform for a bit and you talk to a character, and it is very it's not as full on as I would have liked, at least in these early parts of the game. This is a linear progression game. It's not a roguelite like Saros or Returnal. So I'm hoping that as the game progresses, it's going to start ramping up more and more combat.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying it, and I think the premise is solid. I just want more of it, really. I want to play more of this, and I'll probably come back at the next episode and talk a bit more about the moon god and prison, and I genuinely have no idea what's going on in this game.
I mean, 2.5 hours isn't too much yet to get. Like,
no, I don't know. I don't know how long the game itself actually is. Let's just have a quick look here. Where is it? Lunar Abyss. I have 9 out of 45 achievements, so that's like 20%.
Okay.
So I don't.
Yeah, it's still a decent.
Maybe I'm a decent way through. Maybe there's still quite a bit to go. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And that just about does it for all the games that we've played this month. Dani, what are you... Well, I say this month. Last month. Dani, what are you going to play this month? This month of June coming up.
Month of June. Yeah, so I think... I said last time I would try to play 2 games because I was behind, but obviously now I'm still behind, so I gotta try and aim for 2 games again, I guess. Dredge is my shortest one. So I think I'm going to try and do that. Planning on streaming that, so look out for those.
Yeah, those streams will be going up on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously.
If I can get it working,
if you can
sure.
get it working, but that's the plan.
I've
at
not
least
done that before, but we'll try for
it's
that.
not that hard.
No, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then I think that's like 8 or 9 hours ish, and then if I can get through that in the first kind of couple weeks, ideally, then I will go on to another shortish game, maybe Paradise Killer, maybe Super Mario 64.
Paradise Killer's really good.
Those are some of the shorter ones on my lists because I'd really like to get back on track if I can. So
Paradise Killer's really good. I really enjoy Paradise Killer. I'm really looking forward. I do want you to play that just so I can talk to you about how cool the soundtrack in that game is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
For me, I kind of don't really know. There's 6 games left on my list, and I kind of want. Well, obviously, I want to play all of them, but I have about 4 horror games, or horror in sort of like loose quotes, on my list. So I should probably try and break through some of those. I was thinking maybe now is the time to play Undertale.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe I'll give that a go, or maybe I will play Paranormasight, because that recently had a sequel come out, and I kind of want to play that too. So,
so be a good one to
be a good one to
that.
exactly. So yeah, one or both of those games coming soon to a YouTube channel near you.
Depends if you get a job, I guess. But
Yeah.
Undertale is not the longest for sure.
No, I've played a little bit of Undertale before. I think I put about 3-something hours into it. But I have this sickness where, like, if there's a new game in a series coming out, I have to play through. If I haven't already, I have to play through the series from the beginning. And I know that Undertale is its own new series, but it takes so much inspiration from games like Earthbound, and I'd never played Earthbound up until a couple of years ago. So now that I've played Earthbound, I kind of feel that I'm ready to start playing Undertale.
You're allowed now.
And I've
now
allowed
myself.
myself.
Have the sickness.
Yeah, it's fine. You shouldn't have this sickness. This is something that affects me, and I'm sure other people out there are like, yeah, I get it. But some people like yourself are just like, nah, just play it. Just start with Final Fantasy VIII. It doesn't matter.
I started 7. I started with 7.
To be fair, with I did also start with. I think my 8 was my first Final Fantasy. But I was just a kid back then. I didn't know any better. And those games don't follow on from each other anyway. So there are exceptions that prove the rule. All right, we've got a couple of games coming out this month. I was talking to Joe, your boyfriend, earlier about there's not a whole lot coming out this month. Like, I was looking through the list of releases, and I'm like, man, this is a pretty slim month. But there's
nothing I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah, there's a couple of games on here that I'm really interested in. We'll start off with the Seventh Guest remake. I'm not that fussed about it. I'm more interested in that VR remake that they did. I think it's the same game, but they've DVR'd it. Okay. So there's that. There's the Gothic 1 remake, which I'm seeing lots of promotional material for. I was never a big Gothic fan, but that's coming out on the 5th of June. I'm curious to see how that goes. That looks like that could just be an absolute disaster. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. On the 8th of June, we've got Killer Bean. And I'm going to take a moment here to say that in preparation for me mentioning that Killer Bean was coming out this month in literally about a week, I have watched all the Killer Bean films. I watched the original 2 YouTube shorts, I've watched the feature-length film, and I've watched the 2 newer YouTube series. And I think I can equivocally say that Killer Bean is awful. Don't do what I just did. Killer Bean is really bad.
A sickness.
It's really not good.
So wait, did you figure out Killer Bean was bad from the first thing you watched of it, and then watched the rest?
In all fairness, the very first Killer Bean short is from like 1996 or something ridiculous. It's like it is bad. It's really bad, but it looks like the kind of thing a student would make. And then Killer Bean episode 2, I think, came out in like 2000, and it's a lot better, and it kind of it improves the theory crafting of it. But that short film is basically the first 20 minutes of the feature-length film, which then goes on. Look, don't watch the Killer Bean stuff. Maybe play this Killer Bean game. I don't know. It's coming out in early access on the 8th of June, like I said. Now that I've put so much time into Killer Bean, I'm kind of curious to see what this game is like. I don't know. But a game that I am really interested in playing, and I'm actually really excited for, is Densha Attack, which comes out on the 17th of June. This is... I forget off the top of my head who made it. I haven't written it down. But this is the game that's like Subway Surfers, if you were actually playing as a train. It's really cool. There's a demo available on Steam. Go check that out. Go play Densha Attack. This looks really neat. On the 18th of June, just one day later, we've got The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales. This is from the Octopath Traveler people, I believe. They're making a sort of what seems to be a kind of Zelda-like game. Really cool art style.
Okay.
Amazing just for the fact that it's set in a land called Philadelphia.
Nice.
And that's pretty good. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I probably won't pick this up when it comes out, but it looks really cool, and I kind of do want to play it. And then the last thing I've got on my list here on the 25th of June is that Star Fox remake of a remake of a remake of a remake, I think. Is that too many remakes? I don't know. Basically, they've remade Star Fox 64 again, and it's coming out for Switch 2. I don't care. Yeah. That's not one for me. I'm not a Star Fox guy. I'm not a Switch guy. I'm not a Nintendo guy.
No, me neither.
So I'm sure there are people out there who are really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I imagine
we're not
it
them.
will be a decent hit with a lot of people, but yeah, not us.
All right. Dani, is there anything else that you want to say before we skedaddle and get the hell out of here?
No, not really. Hopefully, I'll be able to update with 2 games next month.
Oh, the heady heights of playing 2 games in a month.
I'm hoping, but no, nothing else. Nothing else from me.
No, that's all good. It's all good. All right. If you want to reach us, you can do so. Send us an email at emails@clearthebacklog.com. I think in the last episode I said I was going to double check and make sure that email address works. It does. If you send an email to emails@clearthebacklog.com, I will get that email. And maybe if it's decent, we'll read it out on this here show. Right here, where the emails go. Yeah, feel free to message us, emails@clearthebacklog.com. That's going to do it for us for this month. Thank you very much, Dani, for joining me again. Thank you very much to all of you for listening. A big special thank you to Kevin MacLeod for the music at the beginning and the end of this show. Aerosol of My Love by Kevin MacLeod. You can find him at incompetech.com or on YouTube, where you can see him dance with his cursor. All right, Dani, any last words?
Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. See you next month. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!